Welcome to Saturday Night Chats Part 3. Now, I had something very weird happen and it just stopped recording. And so I decided to just make a part 2 instead of molding them together because when I do that, the video takes longer. I have to edit it, then I have to download it, then I have to upload it, and then it usually, for some reason, takes so much longer to get onto YouTube. So 3 shorter videos may not be the best for you out there, but it's the best for me. So sorry about that. Anyways, this is going to focus strictly on the books and the movies that I experienced, I should say watched and read this week. So I'm going to start with movies. So this week, I saw that John Wick 4 was out. And so we went ahead and watched that and loved it. My husband fell asleep. It was, I guess, too much action, or, he might have been tired. But I absolutely loved it. If you like the first 3, then you're going to like this. Action-packed, great fight sequences. There was it in this movie? There was a car chase scene, I think, in this movie that was really, really cool. I'm just going to say this movie has the cool factor. It's got, over the top villains. It's got, it's just so good. And what's interesting is that he gets people after him who are his friends, but the evil empire that are in control, they know how to manipulate people through their families to go after John Wick. And so there's honor among the fighters. It's not always just like enemies to kill. And that actually makes the movie a lot more interesting. And the final showdown is really cool as well. I really enjoyed it. It's a great action movie. And the next one I watched, my husband picked. He started watching and he's like, oh, this movie is a gross movie that you're going to like, so let's just go ahead and watch it together. And so I'm glad we did, and it was called Novocaine. Now, that's a word that I always want to say Novocaine, and it's hard to remember that that's an O, Novocaine. But I guess that's just the way I pronounce it. And this is about a man who has like a condition where he can't feel things. And he's in love with a coworker, and she gets kidnapped. He works in a bank, and she gets kidnapped. And so he goes after the bank robbers, who are vicious, to get her back. And this movie is fun. It's brutal. It's gross. It's a lot of fun. If you don't know about Novocaine, I mean, it's an action movie. Okay, I'm just telling you. It's just an action movie. But what they do with this guy who can't feel, it's really a lot of fun. It's just a really interesting take on the kind of action movie that, you see. And so I'm going to recommend this. If you love action movies, you're going to enjoy Novocaine. And it does get pretty gross in some sections of the movie. All right, next. My husband hates when I'm trying to pick a movie and I haven't picked it in advance, and I keep scrolling and scrolling. And so finally, I usually just pick one. I'm like, okay, let's just watch this one. We'll roll the dice. And so I end up doing that. And I picked Out of Darkness. So we started watching this movie and didn't know anything about it. It's about prehistoric people. They're outcasts, and there's either 5 or 6 of them. And they're moving into new land and territory, and they come across something supernatural. And wow, I really, really enjoyed this movie for not knowing anything about it. I thought it was really interesting. I've seen something similar in another movie. I'm not going to spoil it. So the reveal wasn't all that shocking to me, but it was still satisfying. And it was a great ending to a movie that I thought was really, really well done. I recommend Out of Darkness, but isn't that cool? It's an I. All right. And then the final one my husband picked, and it was a comedy, and it was called Instant Family. So I'm not big on comedies, but I actually really enjoyed this. There are a lot of the tropes Like this is about this like idiotic, not thinking of the consequences, a white family who adopts some Latin kids and the consequences to them. This movie has heart. Now, what I didn't like is that Rose Byrne is such a great actress, and she's forced to play this like dumb white lady. She does a great job. She's a great actress, but I just felt bad for her having to do a role like this, although she's really good in it. So, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, she's a great actress. She gets great roles. I mean, this probably made her a lot of money. This was for a comedy. I really, really enjoyed it. So Instant Family, and having been through the foster process, a lot of this resonated for me because this family, these two, they have to go through that whole process that we went through, and so I guess maybe I liked it more because I could relate. I don't know if any of you have watched this and you don't like it. Maybe I just felt that connection with what the characters had to go through, but I'm gonna recommend it as a comedy. I enjoyed it, and the reason it has heart is because it is shining this light on the foster care system and what kids have to go through, and how many kids are out there in the system, and how they're treated, and how they can't find homes from. Like they take a lot of time in this movie to show that, and I think that's a really important message. So yeah, I really I enjoyed it for a comedy. I was surprised that I ended up really liking it. Many of the comedies my husband picks, I ended up just sitting through because I have to. He sits through my movies. So, yeah, I ended up enjoying that one. So now I've got 4 books that I need to talk to you about. Now, this first book, I actually had finished it last week and forgot to talk about it, which was a shame because my video was so short last week. But that's going to be the Hugo Award-winning novel Stand on Zanzibar by John Brunner from 1968, which was the year that I was born. Now, I read this book, and I'm of two minds about it. I appreciated what it did, but there were long parts of this book that were boring. It wasn't bad writing at all. He uses a gimmick that was also used by John Dos Passos. And in fact, this book was modeled on that. And even for me, when John Dos Passos uses it, it kind of wears thin. But this writer uses it a lot more, like huge chunks. Like there's one scene that lasted at least an hour or more of me listening, where you just go from party member. They're at a party, and basically the camera or the prose goes from person to person. You hear snippets of their conversation. You don't get full pieces of conversation, but it just goes person to person. And yes, it's a tour de force of writing. It's great, but it was boring. Like it's just you're jumping around and you're getting more world building, and I can certainly appreciate it. And it's amazing when you think about it. Like he kept it going for so long, but it really dragged the narrative down. So I'm going to say for writing, that's pretty awesome. But for appreciation, just keeping the narrative flowing. Also, there's a lot of weird things about race that I don't think stand up now. It's supposed to be a future society, and race is an integral part of this novel. It's about race and an overpopulation, and it follows 2 characters mostly. So yeah, like I said, I thought this was a really interesting book. It's really long. I don't know if I could recommend it. Overall, I mean, it won the major award that year, so I think people should read it just for that. But it's extremely long, and there are parts where you like slow to a standstill. But it does have really interesting things to say, and I think that this summer I might start a BookTube channel and talk more extensively about the books that I've read, and I might include this one as one of the inaugural videos. and I would, certainly include more things that I'm talking about here. So, you might get a reading geek or a book geek channel soon. Who knows? I think I'm putting too much on the summer, right? I probably should just enjoy my summer and not do all these YouTube videos. Okay, so the next one was the third book in the Executioner series. And this one was called Battle Mask. And this is one where Mac Bolan, the main character, is again solo. And he decides that in order to stay out of the mob, out of their crossfire, he needs to change his face. So he goes to a plastic surgeon, and this allows him to actually infiltrate the mob and go into one of the mob homes as a mob enforcer, and he pretends in this book. And it got back to like the action of the first one. It's the same thing. A lot of misogyny, a lot of a lot of action. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna say, yeah, I did enjoy it. I don't know if I'm gonna be reviewing the fourth one because they don't have it at the library in audio. And so I went online to check for it, and you have to buy a whole bunch, and people are selling them in lots, and I'm not willing to spend like $40 to $80 on a bunch of these books because frankly the covers are not very collectible to me, and so I don't know if I'm going to be continuing with this series or not. So sorry, Mac Bolan, you might be left in the dust, but I did enjoy the three that I read. And finally, I listened to The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. This is the fourth book of his that I read this year. And this one was like, what? So this one I absolutely cannot recommend. This was like so weird and out there. It's like reading the sixth Narnia book. You're like, what's going on? So the premise sounds great. There's this bus and they're riding through hell. And it's just, I don't know, it's weird. The character just stops and talks to all these weird ghosts. And I think part of the problem is it's very British. And so every ghost he meets, it's like there's all this cultural background that maybe I can't get into. And, but anyways, he's meeting all these people, and there's a lot of philosophy in this book. And it's very interesting. It's hard to recommend because, it's just so weird and frankly not that entertaining. It's just more philosophical. Like it's more every ghost that he meets, it's a treatise on religion and the way religion should be versus the way that people actually act. And I liked it to a certain extent. But it would just go on. And like I said, there was a lot of cultural elements that maybe I wasn't really catching on to. And so I'm not going to recommend this one. But, if you're religious, I think you really should read this book because he's got a lot of interesting things to say about religion. So, and C.S. Lewis was very religious when he wrote these books. And so he was writing it from a standpoint of a Christian and how Christians should live their lives. And I thought that aspect of it was really interesting. And there we have it, part 3 of Garage Geeks Saturday Night Chats. I hope you don't mind that I split this video up into 3. It wasn't my intent, but that's what ended up happening. And so I'm going to leave you with a picture of my baby this morning after I woke up. There she is. Her name is Nana. And I want to wish everyone a happy weekend. We actually have Monday off because there's a holiday, and my husband and I are going to go shopping tomorrow. So my normal the series that I've been doing about Mylaring, that is not going to happen on tomorrow, but most likely on Monday. So I want to thank all of you who sat through 3 of these videos to hear about my week. And again, as always, I want to thank all of you for the support.